Good morning, everyone. Welcome to You Can Talk. My name is Ruth Finney, and this is the ABCs of tongue types. This morning, we are talking about the Pinocchio. The Pinocchio is the competitive or the liar, just compulsive liar. They are always not telling the truth. They lie about anything and everything for any reason. It can be very difficult for us to, communicate with the liar because for multiple reasons. Number one, we never know when they're telling the truth, and when we need honesty from them, it's hard to get out of them because they're so used to lying. Sometimes they lie so much they don't even realize they're lying. And that can be very challenging to communicate with that type of person. People lie for all kinds of reasons, right? We tell innocent lies because sometimes we just don't know the truth about a situation. Sometimes we lie to seek validation from people. We lie to be relevant. We want to be important to people. People lie to seek attention, all kinds of reasons, cover up, spare people's feelings. But then there's those people where it just becomes a part of their nature, a part of who they are. Like they wouldn't know the truth if it was hitting them in the face. And it can be very frustrating trying to communicate with that type of person. I'm not here to, explain to people why they should or shouldn't lie. Obviously, honesty, in my opinion, goes much further than a lie. When you develop the type of life where you're constantly having to lie, it's hard to realize anymore what reality is, because sometimes people lie because they're intentionally trying to create an alternate sense of reality for themselves, because the life that they live they're not happy with, or they're not satisfied with, or they're trying to escape from it, and they use lies as a mental escape. I mean, it's just kind of like what we see on the internet. People come on, they create alternate profiles and alternate lives on the internet so that they can be somebody different than who they actually are. Either way, it's all a lie. And so often we are placed in situations and in positions where we have to learn to communicate with these people. Good morning, Vernell Livingston. How are you? Good to see you. Welcome in. Happy Monday to you. I hope you had a wonderful weekend. I had a super busy weekend, but it was a very good one. So I pray you're doing well this morning and looking forward to a new week. So we don't know always why people lie. But the bottom line is sometimes we have to communicate with them. So over the years, I've picked up some, decent, techniques to learn how to communicate with a liar and how to be at peace with them. So those are the things that I'm going to share with you all this morning. Once we've established that we're actually lying, I'm not going to talk to the liar this morning. I'm going to talk to those of us who have to deal with talking to the liar. So once we establish that they are, in fact, indeed lying, it is important for us to keep our head. And I know that we have a tendency to want to confront the liar, right? It's the very thing that sets us off. Let's see. I'm good. My weekend was good. What did you do this weekend? I took my children to the museum. We were at the museum all day and did a lot of cooking and cleaning and chores and all that other great stuff, but it was very busy. So we have to keep our heads. We have to try to, stay calm. And like I said, this can be the very thing when we find out that a person is lying to us. That's the very thing that, ticks us off and, makes us want to be upset. It's like someone throwing a dart in your face and you not seeing it coming, or you didn't know it's coming. Obviously, we're going to feel offended that someone did that to us. Good morning, Levi. How are you? Good to see you this morning. Welcome in and happy Monday to you. So of course we're going to be mad. We're going to be really mad when someone is, lying to us. And my pet peeve is when it's an unnecessary lie. It's like, why would you even lie about these things? Like, or why would you even lie about this? It's not even necessary. Like, you're just lying for no reason. For some reason, it makes me feel better when I feel like, okay, at least you had a reason behind why you told the lie. I still may not like it, but the lie for no reason is the one that in particular gets under my skin the most. But it's important to try to stay calm when you figure out that the person is lying. Number one, because we don't know why they're lying. Sometimes people are literally trying to get a reaction out of us. And if they're trying to get a reaction out of us, then now we're being manipulated. And so the more we respond and get angry and, get upset about their lying, the more they're going to continue to throw things at us to get reactions out of us. And so you don't want to get in that space. Good morning, Harrison. How are you? Good to see you. Welcome. You don't want to get in that space where you're being manipulated by this person's lies. So that is not, that's not what you want to do. So it's real important to try to keep your head so that you're not being manipulated, because we don't know their intention behind the lie. And sometimes they'll be saying, so if we want to sometimes they'll be lying just because they want to try to keep peace, right? They'll lie and say everything is good, or they don't want to argue about a situation or an issue just because they want to try to keep peace about it. So they'll lie and say nothing is going on, or whatever it is, just to try to keep peace. Whatever it is, we need to try to stay calm and with a calm and collected spirit. Because typically if we stay calm, if a person is lying because they're trying to manipulate you, if we stay calm, if we don't give them those reactions, it tends to make them a little nervous. Like, why aren't they responding to this or reacting to this? I would think that they would, get upset or be mad or whatever. And either that will help them retreat and, stop down that path of lies, or it may cause them to try even more, to throw more stuff at you. But either way, keep calm. It's okay to say something like, I'm not sure why you're going down this path, but help me to understand why it is you're saying these things, or what's going on here. It's okay to ask the person if you feel like maybe they're not speaking truth to you, but don't allow them to get under your skin. Don't allow the liar to get to that place where they're controlling your emotions. So what I like to do is bring truth to the conversation rather than getting upset. And I know this takes a little bit of practice, but it's definitely possible. So, because sometimes if you confront them, if you say, I know you're lying to me, that's not the truth, quit telling me lies, blah, 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 then that tends to set a person off on an emotional tyrant, right? Because now they're they want to defend themselves. They want to protect their words, and, they're upset that you're not believing them, whatever the situation is. And we're not trying to, have a big argument. If they're lying, they're lying. But rather than telling them they're lying, or, stop making this up, or what's wrong with you, those types of words that we typically would say, just state, well, I'm not sure how you came to that conclusion with that, but that's not how I saw it, or that's not how I heard it, or that's not how I understood it. Or that's not how I remembered it. So what I saw was this, or what I heard you say was this, or how I remembered it was this. And when the person said this, or when you said that, I understood that to be this. So if that's not the case, tell me how you see it how you were able to see it differently. So, you bring truth to the conversation, your truth. Okay. Because you're not going to be able to always get them to admit that they're lying. But what you can do is bring your truth to the conversation. They may not just say, well, they may defend themselves, but if that's not the truth, you bring your truth to the situation rather than attacking them for lying to you, because that will, set people off on an emotional situation. So from my perspective, this is how I understood that to be. And that will often sometimes cause them to, back up and say, oh, okay, well, I didn't see it that way, or well, I think it's this. They may stick with they may stick with their lie, and that's perfectly fine. But you're still letting them know that you don't agree with them, or that you don't think that that's the truth, or that's not the truth in the way that you see it, and you're going to stand firm in how you see it, so that they can know that they're not going to be able to manipulate you to think any differently just because they feel a different way, or they saw it a different way, or saying things in a way that is not the truth. So bring truth to the conversation rather than attacking them. Bring the truth to the conversation and say, well, this was a situation for me, and this is how I felt about it. This is how I saw it. This is how I understood it, remembered it, whatever it was. And then let them know if that's how you feel about it, or if that's the way you see it, or that's if that's how you want to believe the situation to be. I understand that is your perspective of it, but this is my perspective of it, and this is what I'm going to stand on. So it's just a way to prevent the arguing rather than being combative, rather than sort of having that combative type of conversation with the person going back and forth. Because what happens is we spend a lot of time trying to make the person believe us, or they're trying to make us believe them. And, they may not want to give in. The liar, if they're a compulsive liar, they're going to continue to lie. They're going to continue to stay in their lie. So we just basically have to let them know, I have a different point than you do. I understand that you feel that way. I understand that that's, the way you see it. But that is not what that's not what I feel. I respect it, that you feel differently than I do. But, this is where I am with this. And they will either, abide by it, or, come on your side with it, or they're going to stick with where they are. Either way, what we're trying to avoid is this whole arguing back and forth of you're lying, blah, 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 and getting hung up in that, rat wheel of lies, of, combativeness. So, try to stay away from that. Try to create a safe space to speak truth. Let's see. Vernell says, resist the proud and give to the humble. Yes, absolutely. Some people, they are so prideful that they will not want to give in to letting people have the satisfaction of knowing that they got to them, or that they are lying. They're just going to stick with their story no matter what. And it's fine, if that's how you want to be, but don't let it get under your skin. Don't let it get under your skin, and don't go down that road with them, because once you engage with a liar, they're just going to keep trying to hold you. But especially if they're lying just because they want your attention. If they want your attention and they're steady lying, the more you talk to them and give them that attention, the more they're just going to keep saying stuff just because you're there, giving them their attention. So try to resist that. So what you can do is, if you're in a relationship with this person, you can try to create a safe space for them to speak the truth. And so how do we do that, right? How people say that all the time, create a safe space, but how do we do that, right? So we want to let the person know, if we realize they're lying, we can say, I understand that, the truth may be hard. This may even be something foreign for you to speak the truth. But, and I understand why you chose to say the things that you said, or, why you feel the way you feel, or why you have a different perspective than I do. But if things are going to improve, we're going to have to be honest with each other. And I'm going to be as honest with you as possible. And I want you to feel like you can be honest with me. So if I feel that you're speaking something differently than how I'm understanding it to be, I'm going to tell you my truth, and I would hope that you would tell me yours. But those two truths may not always line up with each other, right? So I may not like what you have to say. I may be hurt by what you have to say, but I will respect that that's your truth, Okay. So that's just a way to let people know that you can tell me the truth. Now they still may not, but at least you're creating the space for them to have the opportunity to do that. Sometimes if a person is worried about our reaction to them telling the truth, then they won't tell it. If they're afraid that we're going to respond negatively, if they are worried that we're going to have like a, set it off moment, or, you're just going to go ballistic, especially if you're a hothead, or you tend to be combative, you have a combative type of personality and they don't want to deal with that, then they're going to lie. They're going to lie. So sometimes if we let people know, hey, you can tell me the truth. I may not like it. I may not be something I want to hear. It may make me angry, but I want you to be honest with me, because we're going to get further in this relationship if you're honest versus you lying to me about stuff, just trying to avoid my mouth. And then, we can work on ourselves, sometimes learn ways that we can not be so reactive if we tend to be that way. But people will lie sometimes just because they're trying to keep peace. They don't want to deal with us being upset about something that we may not agree with them on. So if you can let people know in your relationship early, hey, this is how I am. I do tend to be a highly reactive person. I do get really upset when people lie to me, but I want you to know that I don't want that to deter you from speaking the truth to me, because I will work on myself, and how I react, but I need you to be honest with me. So, because I'll respect it more, I appreciate it more, because if you're lying, now we're going to have a whole nother a set of issues in our relationship to have to deal with, just because, you're not trusting, we're not trusting this relationship enough to bring the truth to it. And a relationship built on lies obviously is not going to get anywhere for very long. Okay. So, and those are not the type of reactions. Those are not the type of relationships that we want to be in. Also, I see people, if a person lies, another reason people will lie. If you're that type of person, is like, I'm going to break up with you, you threaten to leave every single time the person lies. If your reactions are that big, then yeah, they're worried about losing you, because if you find out something that they're lying, you're like, I'm going to leave you, I'm going to break up with you, or I'm going to do something drastic every time they tell a lie. Then they're going to want to, be very careful about saying anything to you that might make you upset, or manipulate their truth enough to try to keep you from being upset. So, however, try to ensure them somehow of our behavior, and so that they'll be more willing to speak honesty to us. It's very helpful for people to sometimes understand how we're going to react. So, because sometimes people lie, like I say, just to be lying. The last thing is make a decision. Sometimes we have to decide how much space in our lives we're going to give a person who lies. Sometimes we give people too much space in our lives and in our conversations. And we may have to set up some boundaries around a liar. If they are a compulsive liar and they're going to always lie, then we're going to have to decide, do I want this person constantly in my life who can't speak honesty to me? Because it's not an issue with us. With compulsive liars, it's typically not an issue with us. It's an issue within themselves. But, we don't always have time to help them figure that out, or the ability to help them with it. But we have to make a decision with ourselves, how much of this we're going to tolerate, how much of this we're going to allow affect us. Sometimes we waste too much time trying to, work with a person who's not willing to make change for themselves. And if that is the space and the life that they want to live in, sometimes we have to make that decision on our own to say, okay, you know what, I'm going to have to limit my time with this person, or I'm going to have to limit my conversation with this person. Because sometimes the more we allow people into our space, the more they're seeing and hearing and being exposed to, and now they have more to create lies about. And so that means we may have to set up some boundaries around, this person so that they're not so exposed to our lives. We don't want to give them so much of our time because we're just giving them more content and more reason to lie. So don't be afraid to do that. Or you may have to even sever ties with the person, period. If they are constantly lying to you and they can't speak the truth if it was going to save their life, if we may have to sever some ties with them or create distance from them and stop communicating with them on a certain level. It just depends on the nature of the relationship. I can't say what that is for you, but sometimes we have to just be willing to make a decision. They may get upset. They may try to come back, time and time. Why are you, separating yourself from me? We don't hang out together anymore, whatever if it's family or somebody you work with, or you seem to be avoiding me, whatever it is, they come to you and say, well, we see life from two different perspectives, and I can't change how you feel about things, and you can't change how I feel about things, and it might be best that we limit our time together or go our separate ways, or whatever it is, create some distance between them. People will either decide I need to bring more integrity to my conversation, or they may continue on with the way that they are. But either way, sometimes we just have to make a decision about our lives and who we are and what we're going to do, rather than constantly putting ourselves in the space of this liar. So make a decision sometimes. Be willing to make a decision about what it is you want to do and how much space you're going to allow this person to have in your life. Okay. That's really all I have this morning. For the Pinocchio, for the liar. If y'all have any questions or comments, go ahead and, put it in the chat. We can talk about it. If you have a situation that you've dealt with, we can talk about it. I know it's early. I know y'all are driving, heading to work, or doing your morning routines, which is perfectly fine. I understand. But happy February to you all. Happy Monday. I hope y'all have a great, great week. I guess I will say a prayer and we can move on for the day. I have a tip coming out tomorrow, and another class again on Wednesday and Friday. We're doing the letter Q and the letter R. All right. So I'll say a prayer if I don't say anything. All right. Father, thank you for this day. Thank you for loving us and protecting us and keeping us, for allowing us to wake up this morning and see another day. Father, we don't always understand why people lie and the reasons that people lie. We know that lying is not of you. You tell us to be honest and to bring truth and to be the light of the world. And so lies and deceitfulness is not of who you have called us to be. But Father, yet we still have to communicate with these people. So help us to stay calm and to not allow them to manipulate us, manipulate our thoughts and our words and our emotions. Help us to bring truth to the conversations, to be that light, to bring the light of the truth to the conversation so that we drown out their lies. Help us to create the safe space to help them feel comfortable and saying what they need to say, and help us to be honest and say the things that we need to say. Our intention is never to argue with people, but to be honest and bring love and light to every situation and every encounter that we have, because we have to represent you. And when we allow ourselves to go into those spaces, we're not representing you. When we're angry and pissed off and emotional about things beyond who you've called us to be, then we're not representing you. So help us to keep our minds and keep our hearts, give us the reactions and the responses that we need to have so that we can get along with this person. And Lord, if it be that we're not called to this person, help us to be strong enough to create the boundaries that we need to have set up around them so that we can create peace. Father, I just pray for everyone in this chat, for those who are watching the replay. Give us the strength to do the things that we need to do, say the things that we need to say, and be the people that you called us to be, regardless of what comes at us in the day. We love you. We thank you. And these things I ask in your son, Jesus' name. Amen. All right. Have a blessed day, everyone. Y'all take care. Bye.